the way I look at boundaries are kind of like judgments or limitations. So like every time you judge something, you limit it because it can only be that way, or like you don't. It's like you put a definite marker in your mind of something that just can't be possible anymore. So for an example, if I don't know, if you say jumping off a building or off your roof, a one-story roof is good, right? For example, or it's bad, then you could never experience that. Like that's always bad. You can never have fun jumping into a roof to a pool off of a roof. Or so that's a bad example. But pretty much, just
It's
imagine like
not.
making a lot of judgments where half of it is good, half of it is bad, and then you make hundreds of those every day, and then the next day you make 100 more, 100 more. Like your box of what's good is so small that you almost can't go anywhere. You can't do anything. You're weary of everything and everyone around you. People you don't know, you might look at them as some kind of enemy or something, all because you've trapped yourself in this box of all of these limits, of all of these boundaries based on these judgments that you made. And which is why,
That
forgiveness is so heavily pushed, because that's saying I forgive this judgment. I will just let it be. I'm not going to set this limit. I'm not going to set this boundary. Let things be as they are. So
I,
my
I don't I don't think that I don't think that was a bad example though, bro. Like I think that was a perfect example
yeah.
because look, at 42 now, at 42 years old, I'm training myself to say I'm finna try new things. Now, the funniest part about me saying I need to try new things, they're not new things that I've never witnessed before, I have never seen before, I had never been around before. They're new things that I just decided not to try because of the limitations that I set by me saying that I'm not going to jump off that roof. Now, I get what you're saying. Like, we're not telling nobody to go jump off a roof, you know what I'm saying? Because it's a roof, right? But look, like, before we went on, before I started fasting, I never ate guacamole. I never ate avocados. I never ate tomatoes. I never ate all of this stuff. And there was a time in my life where I was like, I'm never eating this stuff. It's nasty, right? One of my favorite things to eat in this world, and I'm saying it this way because you can't say think because it's such a small thing that it cannot bring you that much joy, right? I love pico. I love guacamole. Like I love these things. Like there's never a time when I eat them where I'm not happy. Now, if we're talking about life and you choosing happiness, which means no boundaries in a lot of senses, you can't you can't minimize these things, right? So like every time I eat them, I'm happy. Every, I'm even happy to tell people how good they are. And the thing is, I took so long of my life to be able to enjoy that part of it. You know what I'm saying? And so um, there's so many of these things that we do to ourselves, and you're right, they add up to something big. They add up to you being in a little box that it's not that you can't be happy in your box. I'm not saying that you can't be happy in your box because I've been happy in my box, but there's so much that I could have, so much more that I could have been happy about, or that I missed out on, or that I took too long to enjoy. Go ahead, Jay.
No. People are very happy in their box. It's just that their box
Yeah,
gets smaller and smaller. So it's like you have this great big world, but you're in this tiny little box. And so you're wondering why you can't go out there. You're wondering why, it's like you're scared. You're fearful to try new things. And yeah, like even like you said, like even jumping off a roof. I still remember as a kid, we had this like front porch in front of our house. And when I was little, it was probably maybe double the height of me, but me and my friends would always jump off it like it was nothing. And probably somebody watching us today, an adult might say, "Y'all gonna have bad knees," but I don't have bad knees. I have great knees. And
real
I
talk.
did this, but even now, I don't know if I would just jump off something that's twice my height now, because of the maybe the fears that I have let in, or the things that's like, oh, maybe that's not safe. You shouldn't do that now. And in reality, we can, and we can be all right from it.
What this entire conversation is making me think about too, about boundaries and the stuff that you want around you and the people that you want around you. Today, when I got up and I ran earlier than I normally do, so I got on the treadmill. But while I was on the treadmill, I happened to be watching TV, and one of the things that came on was Family Matters, and I was like, you know what? Let me sit back and watch Family Matters. I'm gonna watch it, and this was an episode where um, Steve Urkel had something happen. I forgot if it was his appendix or something, like it erupted or whatever, and he collapsed in the Winslow's house. And now the thing is, the boundaries that the Winslows have for him all the time is they just don't want him around. They don't ever want this kid to be around because he's so annoying, right? So when he came to their house and he collapsed, Carl said the first thing he thought when he collapsed was he didn't believe him, right? And then when he found out that he was hurt, he was happy that he wasn't gonna be around. Like, oh, I'm happy that he's gonna be around. Like, finally, I've rid myself of this kid. And so Carl ends up going and he stops this robber from robbing something. He gets shot in his butt. And then when he gets shot in his butt, he goes to the hospital and they put him in the hospital next to Urkel. They're in the same room and the beds next to each other. And he still is agitated, like, I do not want this kid in here. Like, he's on my nerves. He's invading my space. All I want to do is just be asleep. And so he tells him, I don't want you to talk to me no more while we're in here. I don't want to have nothing to do with you, essentially. Like, just leave me alone. I just want to rest. And Urkel's like, okay, cool. I'll give you that. And so he gets up and he goes to the restroom. And when he goes to the restroom, the person who he robs, who he's caught, his brother comes in and he's coming in to kill Carl. And Urkel comes back into the room. He sneaks up behind the dude and hit him in the head with a pea pen and saves his life. And he tells him, man, when you first went down, all I wanted was for you to be away from me. And now you came back and saved my life. And Urkel said, he said, you know what that tells me? And Urkel said, yeah, that you still need work and I'm just fine. And I thought that was just an amazing moment. Like, because the reality of it, again, when it comes to these boundaries, you think that you don't want these things to be around you. You think that they're not of you. You think that they're supposed to be apart from you. But the moment when you can least expect, if you're willing, if the opportunity presents itself, it can be there to be that thing to be the moment to help you. You know what I'm saying? And that's what
Yeah.
this whole thing made me think about. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. One thing I found too is like for the things that have annoyed me the most, if I just take that deep breath and accept it, and like once you start to accept it, it doesn't come up anymore. Like, or it might, and it doesn't even matter. It's not even a big thing. Like once you just accept stuff and just kind of just let it be, like, well, that just is what it is. Like it just doesn't bother you. Even traffic. Like traffic was something that used to bother me. It's not even a thing anymore. It's so many things, but we don't realize it's only occurring to make us better.